Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have Furfur. Furfur is a fallen angel turned demon who is the 34th of the 72 spirits of Solomon. He is the Earl of Hell and has 26 legions of demons who listen to his every command. If one is summoning him, they must do so within the magician's triangle, or else he will not speak, and if he does, none of it will be truthful. He appears as a deer with a fiery tail unless in the triangle, where he will appear as an angel, but he speaks with a rough and hoarse voice. Furfur has the ability to raise thunder, lightning, and powerful winds, and he also apparently causes love between a man and a woman, which doesn't seem all that bad, but everything I read about him references it in a negative way. When he is trapped within the triangle, he will tell secrets of divine things.
Now at number 9, Angel in the Skies. A man named Lee Howdell was walking in Peak District National Park in England when he caught something on his camera that many are speculating could be more than just a weather phenomenon. Being a photographer, it's likely he went out with the intention of snapping some interesting photos, but he got more than he could have ever imagined. Explaining what happened, he told a local news outlet, I quote, "My shadow looked huge. It was in the circular rainbow. Took some photos of it and carried on walking. It was like an angel in the sky over the hills. It was quite magical." According to the UK's Met Office, this is known as a Brock Inspector or Mountain Spectre and is listed in the top 10 spookiest weather conditions. The Met's website explains this effect is produced when an observer stands above the upper surface of a cloud on a mountain or high ground with the sun behind them. When they view their shadow, the light is reflected back in such a way that a spooky circular glory appears around the point directly opposite the sun. As always, people try to come up with logical explanations for illogical situations, and it seems that this could be a case of that. Although there is a scientific explanation, I don't know. I think maybe we're just trying to make ourselves believe in science when maybe it's something more.
At number 8, we have Answered Prayers. A 48-year-old evangelical minister in Charleston, West Virginia, woke up in the middle of the night and felt the need to pray. Upon doing so, he claims a literal sign from God came to him in the form of an angel. On August 4th, 2013, around 3:46 a.m., you can see what appears to be an angelic-like figure appear on Charles Shelton's security cameras. As per the Daily Mail, the light appeared outside and passed into Shelton's living room twice, fluttering like it had wings. Shelton explained he's seen angels on 2 previous occasions, but this time round didn't tell anyone until he realized he had to. "I was astonished. The Lord revealed to me that this was his angel and his presence." Praying for his neighborhood and those affected with addiction, Shelton is a believer this sign was enough to show everyone that no matter what's happening, it's for a good reason. Crime has been growing for a long time. You hear about shootings, killings, and vandalism. When somebody sees angels, why can't we just let people know? God's presence is in the neighborhood. No wonder how rough it may get, God is still in the midst. I don't care what critics say, I know what happened. I trust you, Shelton, but I wasn't there, so I'm not gonna completely trust you.
On to number 7, Bruce Van Natta. The man was once a diesel mechanic who worked on those big heavy trucks, you know, those transport trucks with 18 wheels, those bad boys. Unfortunately, one day while working on a truck and winding down for the day, the driver of the truck asked Bruce to check one more thing. What should have been a routine check ended up with Bruce being crushed by the truck after one of the jacks holding up the front of the truck gave in. Bruce was under the truck feet first, meaning the lower half of his torso was literally being crushed. This led to him having an out-of-body experience where Bruce saw not only himself and the driver who was trying to lift the truck, but 2 angelic-like figures on each side of his body. He went on to explain 2 voices in his head were telling him conflicting things. One to just close your eyes and relax and you'll go to heaven. The other was telling him to fight if he wanted to live, but it would be no easy task. Bruce would end up making it to hospital and recovering, even though he was told his abdomen was crushed and he only had a year to live. Now he's sharing his story with the world. He wrote a book about his experience and started a website trying to enlighten the rest of the world about his out-of-body experience and his experience with angels.
Filling in number 6 slot is the Pink Angel. In 2013, following the new Pope's first appearance at the Vatican, a pink-like angelic figure was seen in the skies of Florida. As you can imagine, people were split in regards to what caused the angelic-like cloud to form, as some genuinely believed it was a sign, and others were quick to dismiss the idea it was related to religion at all. One woman told a local outlet, "Simply amazing. God bless our new Pope. May the Holy Spirit and all the angels and saints be with us all through this time of transition within the Holy Church." While another skeptic man asked, why do people always have to look for religion in everything? Considering how the angel-looking cloud formed just hours after the new Pope greeted everyone, I understand why people thought it could have been a sign, even if the cloud formed on the other side of the world.
Halfway at 5, Aaron Potter. First diagnosed with leukemia in 2007, life was incredibly tough for young Potter. After beating cancer twice, it came back a third time, and this required Aaron to receive a second bone marrow transplant. Just days before she underwent surgery, Aaron was outside playing with sparklers, and her mother Jen took a photo. While looking through the photos, Jen noticed a figure behind Aaron who Jen believes resembles Mother Mary. After Aaron's successful surgery, she would be cancer-free, and Jen, along with her husband Kevin, genuinely believed there was some kind of divine intervention that saved their little girl. Regardless of what it was, I'm just happy that Aaron is healthy and wish her all the best.
Now number 4 is the angel on the plane. This story here is about a 7-year-old boy named Asher who loves to snap photos on his mother's phone. On a flight back from visiting his older brother, Asher, while sitting on a plane waiting to take off, decided he wanted to take some pictures. As the plane started to take off, there was significant turbulence which made Asher incredibly uncomfortable, prompting his mother to give him the phone to snap some pictures. Thinking it would be a pretty good distraction, Asher started taking the photos, and his mom eventually got the phone back and started to go through them and delete them as she usually does. However, she stumbled upon one photo in which she saw what appears to be an angel. In fact, she believes it was Asher's guardian angel looking over him, and although she admits she'll never know for sure what it was, she believes it happened for a reason.
On to number 3, Sports Angel. On November 7th, 2009, Doug Luatter was supposed to coach a youth football game, and his son Kyle was going to be the assistant coach. Unfortunately, on the way to the game, Kyle would be involved in a fatal accident. However, following the game, a man would take a photo of his grandson and teammate, which would later make the local news. An image of a white figure appeared to be beside the two boys in the field, and after seeing the story about the photo, Doug, his family, and many others believe that Kyle did end up making his way to the game. Although he understands why people would dismiss the idea that it is Kyle in the form of an angel being seen in the photo, he's firm in his belief that it was the sign he was asking for and doesn't feel the need to question it any further.
Filling our number 2 slot is Chelsea Banton. Born 5 weeks prematurely, Chelsea unfortunately grew up with numerous developmental disabilities and was in and out of the hospital for most of her youth. At age 14, she was hospitalized with pneumonia, and it appeared that Chelsea didn't have much longer. Having to make an incredibly heartbreaking and tough decision, her mother decided she wanted the doctors to pull the plug, keeping Chelsea alive, claiming it would be unfair and selfish to have her go on living the way she was living. However, it seemed someone or something had other plans, as Chelsea remained in stable condition even hours after the plug was pulled. While nurses looked at the monitor outside of her room, they saw what appeared to be a figure, but when they went to the door, they saw nothing. Other hospital staff and even Chelsea's mum saw the figure on the screen, but nothing in person. Remarkably, Chelsea would make a complete recovery, and many claim it was an angel who saved her life and who appeared on screen. Unfortunately, Chelsea did end up passing away at just 21 years old on November 28, 2015, but will forever be known as Chelsea Angel Girl Banton.
At number 1, Angel Clouds. A man in South Carolina couldn't believe what he was seeing and immediately started to film what he believed was an angel in the sky. On October 20th, 2016, Corey Huron filmed a cloud which appeared to be in the shape of an angel, and he claims it was definitely a sign from up above. During a time in which he was questioning his spirituality, Corey claims this was a direct message for him to keep the faith, telling CNN the wind didn't seem to disturb it and it remained in the same place for 15 to 20 minutes. At the time of this recording, the video has been shared over 300,000 times, and Corey also received tons of messages from people all over the world thanking him for sharing the video. He told CNN, "It's just a blessing what an uplift this has been for so many people."
Starting us off at number 10 is Zadkiel, a real archangel of freedom and mercy, but the one we're talking about today is part of the Marvel universe. Back in the earlier comics, Zadkiel used to be God's personal warrior that was extremely good at killing anything and everything. In terms of power, he possesses superhuman strength, speed, durability, he can heal quickly, he's immortal, he can fly, he can capture astral bodies, and he can manipulate you with magic. He could not give less of a shit about humanity, and during Lucifer's rebellion in heaven, he and his black host sided with the dark side. Zadkiel then snaked Lucifer, so this guy's evil truly runs deep. Like, how does man's snake Lucifer? I don't get it. As punishment for betraying God, Zadkiel was put in command of Heaven's Black Ops team, and after doing a bunch of work, he was done with it and launched his own attack against Heaven. He started recruiting humans, so after they died, their souls would automatically join his army. Zadkiel thought he could do a better job at ruling than God, and he actually won Heaven and ruled for a while. So this dude is not to be messed with under any circumstances.
Coming in at number 9, we have Seraphim. Seraphims are flying serpents. Need I say more? Seraphims appear in the book of Isaiah, and their name means burning ones or flying serpents. So not only are they flying snakes, but they are fiery flying snakes. And they don't just got one set of wings. No, because why would they? They actually have 6 wings sprouting from their back. 2 are said to be covering their face.
Why? Well, when they are mentioned, they are flying by God on his throne and telling him how great and holy and glorious he is. They cover their eyes because they feel unworthy to look at God. Then they have 2 wings to cover their feet. Yeah, that's right, I forgot to mention that these snaky things have feet. They just keep getting weirder and weirder. Anyways, they hide their feet so God doesn't see anything imperfect about them. And then they have 2 wings that are actually used for flying. But still, they sound horrifying.
In our number 8 spot today, we have Raphael. Raphael is one of the true archangels and is the 4th oldest of the 5. He is a powerful healer, a guardian angel, and a great fighter, so you might be wondering why he landed a spot on today's list. Well, there's just one story in particular that I really wanted to talk about, and that story comes from the Book of Enoch. In this story, Raphael is in a battle with a demon, Azazel. Raphael is able to defeat the demon but decides to subject him to a fate worse than death. The story writes, "Bind Azazel hand and foot and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is in Dune Dale, and cast him therein, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever, and cover his face so that he may not see light, and on the day of the great judgment he shall be cast into the fire." If that wasn't clear enough, Raphael tied this demon up, buried him alive in a hole full of rocks in the middle of the desert where he just now gets to wait until he can be thrown into a fire and burned alive. Like, what? I gotta say, that's very dark.
Coming in at number 7, we have Lucifer. He definitely deserves a spot on today's list. And before you go off being like, why is he on here? He's not an angel. Wrong. He was one. He's a fallen one. This is based on the book of Isaiah in the Bible. In it says, and I quote, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" So it said that Lucifer was once an angel, but then got banished to the depths of hell after he staged an uprising against God. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious as to why he's terrifying and on today's list. I mean, he rules hell and has an army of sinners and demons at his disposal. He then sends them to earth to terrorize humans and tempt them into committing sin. In fact, in the Bible, it's also believed that Lucifer, or Satan, was the snake that tempted Adam and Eve. He has a number of different forms he can change into. But of course, modern times have him depicted as a red-horned beast with a pitchfork.
In our number 6 spot today, we have Abizthabu. This fallen angel is described in the Testament of Solomon and is said to be one of the angels that followed Beelzebub upon his fall from heaven. He is the sin of pride and is known for his ability to lead people astray. He is most easily summoned in the month of July during the 5th hour of the night. After his fall from grace, he was left with only one red wing and was condemned to hell. He is said to have control over the imprisoned souls of Tartarus and plays a primary role in the demon world. He himself claims that he was once an angel in what is referred to as the first heaven, and after his fall he began to roam Egypt. During his time in Egypt, he met with Moses and the Israelites during the Exodus and opposed them. This is when he decided to harden the Pharaoh and his advisors' hearts and convince them to pursue those who were fleeing. He then went with the Egyptian army in pursuit of the Israelites, but the collapsing Red Sea crushed and drowned him, which left him imprisoned in a pillar of water. Despite being trapped, Beelzebub says that he will return for conquest.
We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the cherubs. Now, you might be wondering, Lindsay, why are these on the list? Aren't they just plump naked kids with little bows and arrows? They're cute. No, sorry, but the Bible has them depicted a little differently. In fact, they are terrifying looking. They are described as, and I quote, "Their form was human, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their legs were straight. Their feet were like those of a calf. Each had the face of a human being. And on the right side, each had the face of a lion. And on the left, the face of an ox. Each also had the face of an eagle." Yeah, you heard me correctly. They had 4 faces. A human one of a lion, a face of an ox, and then a face of an eagle. I'm sorry, but that just makes me uncomfortable. There's too many faces going on. But wait, that's not all. Each head had its own set of wings, and they appear to be on fire. So they're just a weird human-animal hybrid thing that's on fire. Can't forget the fire part. But wait, it gets worse. In Ezekiel 10:8, it claims that their backs, hands, wings, and their whole body were covered in eyes. That concerns me. Why do they need that many eyes? Imagine summoning that thing. Like, its appearance alone would just scare the crap out of you. No thank you.
In our number 4 spot today, we have Asbiel. Asbiel had to be included on this list today if for any reason, because his name literally means God-forsaken or God-deserter. Asbiel is the angel of ruin and one of the fallen angels from the Grigori. After leaving the angelic post and straying from the angelic duties, Asbiel dedicated his life to leading humanity astray. Asbiel completely abandoned God and his grace and wishes nothing from him. Asbiel believes that God is basically just another common celestial who has hoarded all of the power at the expense of the rest of creation. During and after his fall, Asbiel questioned why God wouldn't just completely remove any evil and malice in the hearts of his creations, and this led to him believing that God was a tyrant who only cared about worship and praise.
Coming in at number 3, we have Samael. First off, Samael's name literally means the venom of God, the poison of God, or blindness of God. Pretty intense for an angel, right? Well, he's not just any angel. No, he's an archangel of death. He killed people under God's orders. So basically, when God tells him to go kill someone, he will show up and confront them with his sword drawn. The tip of the sword contains a drop of poison, so when he jabs the person, it will not only cause a nasty wound, but will contaminate their blood with poison and they will die a slow, painful death. Now, in Hebrew lore, he is the prince of demons and is the executioner of death sentences handed out by God. He is also called the seducer. Why? Well, he is known to seduce people into acts of evil. He seduces them so that they will sin, and then God's like, oh, we got another one, go kill them. Like, that's really dark.
In our number 2 spot today, we have Azrael. Azrael appears in many religions in our world and is often referenced as being the angel of death. His job is to watch over those who are dying and separate the soul from the body, and he receives the spirit of the dead. Rather than being death personified, he is more thought of as being a servant to the will of God. He is, however, referred to as the embodiment of evil. Not that he himself is evil, but just the embodiment of it. He is said to have 4 faces and 4,000 wings, and his whole body is covered in eyes and tongues, which directly correlates to how many people there are on Earth. Like, imagine being visited by an angel that looks like that, and then knowing that seeing him probably means you're about to die. Just not a good situation in general. It is said that Azrael will be the last to die, and he is constantly recording and erasing the names of men at birth and death. I thought my job sometimes got a little dark, but I'll take this one over that one any day.
And in our number 1 spot today, we have the Watchers. First off, why would they give angels such an intense name like the Watchers? Like, it sounds creepy already. Anyways, basically the Watchers came down to Earth to watch over the humans. But while down here they got distracted and fell in love with women. They ended up procreating among them, but this was a disaster. Their offspring were these savage giants who pillaged the earth and put humanity at risk. Like, literally, they started killing and eating people. Not only that, it's said that the Watchers were the ones that taught humans about weapons and violence. So yeah, these angels had one job and managed to screw it all up.
Starting our list off at number 10 is the truck angel. A man in Michigan was sure he saw an angel after receiving a photo of what appeared to be one floating above his truck. Glenn Thorman claimed his motion-censored camera snapped the picture, which he then immediately sent to his wife and pastor of his church. Speaking with a local news station, Thorman explained and he said, "That's an angel." And I was just blown away. I couldn't wait to send it to my wife and send it to Pastor Daniil Mose. I said I got an angel and my camera took a picture of an angel. Mo spoke with the outlet as well, telling them I went like, whoa, and I texted him back, "That's an angel." There wasn't any doubt in my mind that we were looking at something supernatural. With that being said, others thought they may have an explanation for the phenomena, with Joe Clark of Glass Lake Photography claiming it could just be a moth. LOL. It definitely does look moth shaped in the first photo, I'm not gonna lie. You can kind of clearly see what it looks like, or it could be interpreted as wings and a head, but at the same time, since it's not clearly in focus, and since it is what it is, there may be room for interpretation. We don't know. Coming in at number 9 is Gabriel. In the 2010 action horror Legion, the Archangel Michael goes to Earth and ends up being the angel trying to save the human race. A waitress called Charlie is pregnant with a baby who's going to save humanity, except God doesn't want humanity to be saved. So he sends an army of angels to Earth to end the human race, and the angel in charge of the army is Gabriel. He goes on a killing spree and kills Michael, who later comes back to Earth and says that Gabriel did what God wanted, but that he himself did what God needed, and therefore Gabriel failed. I mean, God did send him down there to kill an unborn baby, surely he should have known something was wrong there. Either way, the TV show Dominion is set 25 years after the events of the movie, and in it Gabriel is still hell-bent on killing mankind. He even managed to convince all the lower angels to fight with him. So an immensely powerful archangel hell-bent on killing us all sounds a lot worse than Succubus, for example. You know? At number 8 we have Samyaza. In the Book of Enoch, this fallen angel is known as the leader of a band of other fallen angels called the Watchers. This group became possessed with their lust for human women and continued to consummate despite it being a sin. Samyaza created 2 half-human, half-giant sons and continued to corrupt his fellow angels into seducing women. His encouragement led to the offspring of these women being giants, and together with the angels they murdered, dominated and exploited inferior races of men. And I mean, when you have angels and giants in one army, you know you're gonna lose. You may as well just give up. Surrender, it's over for you. Filling our number 7 slot are the angels of the 10th realm. Part of the Thor Marvel universe, these angels live in a place called Heaven, not actually spelled heaven, previously known as the unknown 10th realm. This realm was locked away by Odin because these angels were a right menace. They're vindictive and they're pro-killing babies. Loki actually helps Thor open up a portal to heaven so they can meet the angels. However, a battle ensues where Thor loses and Loki sides with the angels. In all the 10 realms, angels are their greatest warriors, to the point no army is a match for them. They're extremely selfish and materialistic, and think a concept like honor is just plain useless. Now at number 6 is Gabriel. What a surprise! Gabriel, why'd you have such a bad rep? Jeez, come on now. Anyway, in the 2005 occult detective film Constantine, half-breed angel Gabriel is a bit of a problem. Gabriel absolutely hates humanity with every fiber of its being and hatches a plan to unleash Satan's offspring, Mammon, onto Earth so humans can die so they can go to heaven. So I mean, it sounds like a good deed, but it most certainly is not. To claim the Earth for himself, Mammon needs help from God and a powerful psychic on his side, both of which he has, and he has the help of Gabriel, the selfish hoe. Gabriel literally tries to stab a possessed woman's belly to get Mammon out of there, and Satan eventually incinerates her wings off. You know it's bad when Satan is involved in doing the punishing. You know it's bad. Coming in at number 5 is Amenadiel. I like him personally just because he's from the DC universe and I prefer DC over Marvel. And I know everyone's just gonna be bashing their keyboards right now trying to tell me how Marvel is so much better and intricate. Believe me, I work with Chain Amanda, they're both Marvel over DC diehards. Either way, Amenadiel is a vengeful angel that spends his life getting back at Lucifer, who is now on Earth. After leaving his post as King of Hell, Lucifer went to Earth and started running a piano lounge, which did not set well with Amenadiel, who never forgave him for betraying him and God. However, Lucifer's a genius and Amenadiel is definitely, more brawn than he has brains. Any move against Lucifer is thwarted quite easily, which makes Amenadiel angrier and stupider. He literally invades LA with the Throne Army and kills a bunch of people all for his ego. Come on man, do better. At number 4 are the angels from Supernatural. I honestly did not think that show could last as long as it did, but I mean kudos to them. 15 seasons, Azam Zaddy. Now the series follows 2 brothers who essentially hunt ghosts, demons, monsters, you name it, they hunt it. Supernatural also has a lot of angels in it, the good of which being few and far between. There's probably only like 2 angels that are relatively good on the show, Castiel and Gabriel, and even they are not saints. Gabriel literally forced Sam to watch Dean die 100 times in a pocket universe, and he's in the top tier of nice in the show. That's not nice. Most of the angels on the show have no issue killing humans. The first half of the show actually features most of the angels wanting Satan to escape from hell just so the apocalypse can happen, and that's not even because they want it, it's literally because they're bored. Other antics include Angel Zachariah removing Sam's lungs for a few minutes just to prove a point, Metatron killing a bunch of humans, and also turning angels into suicide bombers. Like, hello, calm down. Filling at number 3 slot is Gabriel. There are so many asshole versions of Gabriel, I feel bad for it. Either way, this terrible Gabriel hails from the 1995 American fantasy movie titled The Prophecy. Now to summarize, there's this sort of angel civil war going on and Gabriel wants to overthrow the regime and be in charge. As angels, you'd think they'd all be able to sort out their differences around some heavenly circular table, I don't know. In order to win the battle, Gabriel is looking for the dark soul of Colonel Hawthorne, a Korean war veteran that committed horrible war crimes that don't even seem to affect his morality at all. Hawthorne's soul will help him overthrow the obedient angels. To put it into perspective of how bad this is, even Lucifer doesn't want Gabriel to win because he knows he'll turn heaven into a second hell. You know shit is bad when Lucifer seems like the good guy. The reason Gabriel is even doing all this is because he feels bad and guilty for betraying God. His soul is being tortured and this is the only way he can see out of it. I mean, has he tried therapy? Are some problems beyond therapy? I don't know. Now at number 2 is Zara. Now Zara is an angel in the Spawn comic book universe that is so powerful and feared that angels and demons alike don't want to get in her way. Zara is a creation that God abandoned and now keeps imprisoned due to her immense unpredictable power. She's one of the most powerful beings in the universe, but she is utterly insane. How can that much power not go to anybody's head? Come on, you're setting her up for failure. Now Zara's unending bloodlust is what makes her simultaneously a homicidal maniac and God's most lethal weapon. He lets her out when he needs someone killed or someone to do his dirty work, and since she's immortal, nothing's that deep for her. The bloodlust within her is actually so strong it manifests in this large white bestial humanoid that can breathe white celestial fire and follow Zara's every command. So not only is she dangerous herself, she also has this ethereal beast that kills people for her. And finally, at number 1 is the unnamed angel. In the 2001 psychological horror film Frailty, Dad Meeks, the father of Fenton and Adam, gets visited by an angel who tells him that God wants him to kill demons that are disguising themselves as humans. Meeks is already a religious fanatic, and this angelic visit throws him into overdrive as he waits for the angel to give him the name so he can start killing the people one by one. He takes his 2 kids with him on these murder missions and touches the victim right before killing them because it shows him the visions of what crimes that demon has committed. Now Adam believes his dad, but Fenton doesn't, so he tries stopping him, which fails. This angel tells the dad some horrible things about Fenton that leads him to locking him up in the cellar, hoping that will make him see God. After days of being starved, he lies and says he's ready to be part of the murders, and so upon securing the next victim, the dad gives him the axe, but Fenton kills his dad instead. Then, on instruction from the angel, Adam kills the victim and then buries them both. The movie gets darker after that with a lot of twists, but this one angel literally caused a serial killer to be born. And